Hey guys, welcome to FloatyTattoo. As you can see, I'm surrounded by all this magnificent equipment I've been using for the last 1 to 2 years. These are all my favorites and I want to share them with you so you can build your own awesome tattoo studio. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe before we start. Okay, let's take a look. The first thing I want to go over in my shop is the tray here. On the tray, I have all the machines that I've loved the most this past year. They're just set up for demonstration. I'm not actually using them today, but this is how they would look. So, first things first, the Dragonhawk Fold Pro. I have it all demoed out here with the cover on the wire and everything. This machine is great because it has an RCA connection as well as an option to connect a battery. This machine also comes with 2 batteries, which is very nice. It also comes in a variety of different colors. It's an adjustable stroke machine. It does fine line beautifully. So it is generally my favorite one for fine line, although we'll get into other ones that I like as well. So the Dragonhawk Fold Pro is beautiful and it works magically. You will love it. Check it out in the comments below. Okay, next up we have Ambition. Ambition is a well-known brand and it took a little while for me to actually buy one and try it, but when I did, I loved it. The Ambition Torped is a $75 machine, and that is an amazing price for a 5.5 millimeter stroke with this kind of grip and material. So it has a nice heavy grip, it's wide, and it's got this 5.5 millimeter stroke, which is great for larger gauge needles. So I definitely like having this on hand for those situations. It also just makes kind of a good all-arounder. I have packed with it and dot work as well. So all those things are wonderful. Ambition's only $75, so you might want to include that in your arsenal as well. Next up, we have the Bronc X1. That's this green one right here. So this machine is also an adjustable stroke machine. It goes from 2.6 to 4.0. It does fine line beautifully. And it has a pretty great little motor on it. It actually is a Swiss motor and it hits pretty well. Even though it goes up to 4, I feel like it hits just as well as my 4.2 Fold Pro. And it's actually pretty comparable to the Fold Pro. I would say lately though, I like this one a little bit more. I think it just has a little bit more power to the motor, but I have been running my Fold Pro for the last year. So it could be that it's just a newer motor. Either way, this one and the Fold Pro are very similar in that they have the RCA connection, or you can put a battery on. So that's wonderful. Okay, lastly on my tray is the Wormhole Pro boots. If you are somebody who wants to use a battery machine and does not want to use an RCA, this one is my recommendation. For me, this one works the best with the battery. It has a great system that also has adjustable stroke, goes up to 4.2 and down to 2.4. I also really like the grip on this machine. It is really nice and sturdy. It's nice and heavy. It's all weighted at the tip and the battery is really light. So I feel like it has wonderful control, especially for a battery machine. And if you're on a budget, it's a wonderful option. So that's $100. That's the Wormhole Pro boots. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is my power supply. My power supply is very cool. It has the most continuous amperage of any other power supply you can get on the market. It's called the MusoToku. It's a very funny name, but I love it. And it has the ability to run 2 different machines. So it has 2 connections, which is very cool. It also has these plastic covers that make it very easy to clean, 0.1 increments. And again, it just really works well. And I haven't had any trouble with it. It's been wonderful. So I do recommend, if you haven't tried using a power supply, to at least give one a shot. And the MusoToku is connected to my favorite tray right here. So I used to have the medical tray, the steel one that had the 2 wheels and the bent bar. You know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen it. I can't stand those trays. They're very noisy for one because they clang around and they just remind me of the hospital a lot. So I wanted to get something a little more convenient for me, height-wise, and looks and use. This one has 5 different wheels, which obviously is better than 2. You can move it around much easier that way. You can also lock down the wheels if you need to. It is black, which I do like. I feel like it matches my studio a little better. That also helps keep it clean. And because it's made out of steel, it is something that you can stick magnets to. So I have some magnets here. Here's a little call button that has a magnet on the back, and I just stick to that. The power supply is actually connected to a magnet as well, much more heavy duty. I also have a magnet on the back of my charging station, and that connects to the back of the machine. So that is all really wonderful to have. If you didn't notice already, it does have a trash can as well. So check it out. This tray is in the comments below and it won't disappoint. Do you remember my NuChair video? Well, here it is. I still have it, the NuChair, and I've been using it now for 2 years, and it is amazing. If you don't remember, this is how it works. You sit in it this direction, which is what makes it so unique and different. You can lean in, you can change the posture in the back by tilting the seat, and obviously you have height control as well. Everything about this chair is perfect for tattoo artists, and I still highly recommend it. And good news, I have $50 off for you this season, so check out the link in the description below. Okay, now we have armrests. As you can see, I have 3 different armrests in my studio because I really like trying new things. You will have to use whatever is available to you if you're using someone else's studio, so it's good just to be familiar with the different types of armrests. But maybe you'll see one here that you like. All of them are in the description below. I have them in front of me in order of size. This is the XXL here. This is XL, and this is just like your standard size. And honestly, all of these armrests have been wonderful. They all have slightly different uses. They all tip towards the viewer from the angle that you're looking at them. That means that this is the only one that tips in the length position. That is something I was curious about recently. Did it make that much of a difference? I don't think so. I think you can get away with using this XL for pretty much everything. It is my favorite of the 3. If I was going to recommend just one, I would recommend this XXL. Sorry, it's the XXL, and I'll put it in the link in the description below. It's pretty awesome. Okay, here I have my client chair / bed. I also have a cover, and I have some lights to talk about. All of these will be in a link in the description below. The cover is amazing. This is a cleanable cover I recently got because I got a little bit tired of using the disposable covers. I try to use the biodegradable covers, but you're still throwing something away. You still have to clean the bed anyway. So you might as well just clean this cover because it's over top of everything, protecting the bed, and it'll keep the fabric of your bed alive longer. The bed itself is from OmySalon, and it actually has the electric remote as well. It is at max height right now. Here's it going down. You can hear what the motor sounds like. It's very quiet. To help your client get on and off the bed, sometimes it's nice to have that. You can also turn it into a chair. That's the max height for the chair, but I haven't really needed much more than that, so that's great. All right, lastly are these lights. These lights are actually amazing. I've bought a few lights from Amazon, and sometimes they're not bright enough, sometimes they break. These have been the best so far that I've found. I'll put a link in the description below. They're called the Neewer Lights. Not sure how that's pronounced, but they are Neewer. No studio is complete without an iPad and an iPad stand. Maybe you don't use an iPad. Maybe you have a laptop. that's a little hard to put on a stand. So this is just for people who like to use iPads. I do recommend getting an iPad because you can get Procreate. Procreate makes it very easy to be a tattoo artist. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out, see if you like it. But Apple is available on Amazon as well. You can actually do payment plans. That's what I did. And I got myself an iPad. As you can see, the iPad is on a stand. This is the second stand that I've gotten. I think it works very, very well. You can go either horizontal or vertical if you loosen this and just twist it. I'll show you that. So now you have the vertical stand if you need it. So very easy to use. It has a little pull tab in the back to make it easy to actually put on the stand as well. And it has a very heavy steel base where I can attach magnets to as well. This battery is here to keep the power obviously on the iPad. So that all together will be in a link in the description below. All right, we're on the back wall of my studio here now where I have a lot of great equipment to show you. Obviously, if you have a tattoo studio, you have to have a sharps container. I like the one that goes on the wall and the one that holds a lot of stuff. So here's mine. And you can find it in a link in the description below. I'm gonna go over each thing here. I know it's a little silly, but a soap dispenser is very nice to have at your sink. You can actually get electric ones now. They're not that expensive. That way you don't have to touch it or do anything when you're cleaning things in the sink, because this is a sink that you're gonna have maybe some biologic stuff. So you wanna make sure that you have a good soap dispenser that you don't have to touch. You also want to have a paper towel dispenser right there so you don't have to go anywhere dripping around. You want it right here, and the garbage. So everything's going to be choo-choo-choo right in this area. Easy peasy, keep it clean. Sani Cloth, here it is right here. Sani Cloth is everyone's best friend. Don't forget to use gloves when you have Sani Cloth, please. Everyone tries to say that they're safe. They're not safe for your skin. They are meant to clean blood and other types of biologic stuff. So we do not want to get this on our skin, but we want to use these to clean off surfaces. So put some gloves on and use them on your client chair, use them on your tray, use them everywhere. Once you get the debris off, you're going to go in with your Sani Cloth. So if you have gloves in your department, the best thing to do is to attach them to the wall. That's my favorite. The reason why is because they are at eye level and you don't have to bend over a bunch, and the box is not going to fly around every time you try to get a glove. So you just pull a glove out and it's very easy. This thing holds it in place for you, and then you have a backup box in case you run out. So very small thing, but it does make a difference, and it does save surface area as well by putting the gloves on the wall. So very nice. These SHOWA gloves are my favorite. They are biodegradable. That makes me feel a lot less crappy when I'm putting them in the garbage. So if you want to get those are definitely available on Amazon. I highly recommend them. They are just as good as any other glove. You will not see any difference. I actually forget sometimes that they're biodegradable. But you want to make sure to get the right ones. We will put a link in the description below. They have these funny little codes here, so you want to make sure to get the right one. And always make sure you have a nice snug fit. A loose glove can lead to accidents, so you don't want that. All right, DermShield. Have you guys heard of it? Well, if you haven't, you should start learning about it, because DermShield helps your tattoos heal better. It will definitely be a visible difference, and your client will just thank you for it. They don't want to leave here with cellophane on them. They don't want to leave here all wrapped up in a bunch of cloth. They really just want to leave here in DermShield. So get that. And if you want something cool to dispense it in, I have this thing. It's very cool. It's got this skull on the top, And I got this from a company called Tattube at a convention. So just a little shout out to Tattube. Thank you guys for this. It's been great. We've loved it so far. All right, next up we have needles. I've used a lot of different needles, but these are two of my favorites that I've used this year. We have the Dimension cartridge and this Revo cartridge. So these have really good stability. I'm not noticing a lot of wobble, so very happy with these needles. I'll put a link in the description below so you can get your own Dimension or Revo cartridge. Stencil printers are really hard to find. They all work off different types of apps and things like that. The most consistent one that I've used in my studio this year has been this ATS 886. I use it with spirit paper, but it works with other types of paper too. It has 3 different settings on it, and I feel like the sizing usually matches well with what I'm expecting. So I don't have sizing issues as much with this one that I do with the other apps. It has a very user-friendly interface and it makes great prints. So what can I say other than that? I've done other reviews of this machine. If you want to see more about it, go check out those reviews. But otherwise, it's great. It'll work for you in your studio or on the road. Okay, next up we have ink. My favorite ink this year is Empire Ink. Empire Ink is actually local. They're in Wisconsin. I've met them. They're wonderful people and they make great ink. My favorite is the whitewash. I feel like it is the best. It kind of replaced my gray wash completely. I almost never use gray wash anymore. Not that I wouldn't ever, but I feel like for most of the fine line projects I do, this whitewash works great because people don't want super dark shading. They want it to be lighter, and it has a little bit of white in it, which does that. It also just helps you see it better on the skin, and realistically, it probably heals just a touch lighter than the gray wash. So it's a wonderful thing to have in your studio, as well as their Vine Black, which is their kind of best overall black that I've tried, and this Ivory Black and Mars Black. These are both great packing blacks. I don't really have a preference between these. I'm not sure that I notice too much of a difference. I think the Mars Black is supposed to be their darkest black. Empire Inks has a lot of different products. Obviously they have the ink medium, but they have color as well, so check out their website. They're great. We love Empire Inks. I also have all these great color inks here. I mainly use Fusion and Industry inks, but I also have a couple other types of inks in my drawer here. You can see I have the Empire color set, the Bloodline UV set, and I have a couple world famous, but all in all for color, I prefer Fusion and I prefer Industry. Those are my 2 favorite for sure. So that's it for color inks. We'll put links if you need that too. Also, are you tired of shaking these color bottles? I know I am. All this color is hard to mix. So let me show you something pretty cool here. Hiding behind my Empire bottles is where I keep my bottle shaker. I'm just going to grab an Empire bottle to show you. And that's that. We're all shaken up, and it was a lot easier because we had this thingy. This is actually a scientific shaker for bottles. This is actually a scientific shaker for test tubes and beakers, so it works really well. We'll put it in the description below. Okay, next up we have this whole area here where my dental bib is. This black dental bib I'll start with. These are available on Amazon. You definitely want those underneath your things just to add that extra layer of protection between your furniture and any kind of biologic thing that will end up there. So we have our ink mixer here first. This ink mixer is very handy for color, especially. You have these detachable plastic pieces here that go in the end and help you mix your color. So a handy little tool there, and you'll want to have the bag of mixing sticks as well. Next up, let's talk about shavers. I use biodegradable shavers because, again, I just feel bad about the environment and I try to do what I can. These are available on Good Judy, and you'll find a link in the description. I have Sharpies. You don't have to use the Sharpie brand. You can use other types of permanent ink. These are great scissors. These are also from Amazon. These are really heavy duty. You don't want to be cutting too close to skin with these. Just use this to cut up your stencil paper and things like that that tend to be a little harder to get a good cut edge on. All right, next let's look at this. This is my Loupe. I use this to look at needles close up. It has a little black light in it as well, and a regular light so you can see the tip of your needles. Here it is a little closer. So that's a Loupe. You just want to use that to look at the needles in your cartridge, or if you, especially if you use needle on bar, those things get dinged around quite a bit. So you'll want to have a Loupe. All right, I also have this really goofy thing that I wear here. And we got light. So if you are having a little trouble with your other lights because you can't get the right angle, it's probably because the right angle is your face, and you'll want to wear this goofy headband so you can see really well while you work. You don't have to be cool like me, whatever, it's fine. So the tongue depressor here with the InkEeze go together. I do recommend using these individually wrapped tongue depressors. I feel like that keeps it much more clean. These are sterile, so it just feels better putting that in the InkEeze. Also, we use this for every client, and you just want to have a clean tongue depressor every single time you go in here. So I'll pretty much throw this away as soon as I use it, and if I need to get back in, I'll actually go and get a brand new tongue depressor. So that's how to keep that a little extra safe. And InkEeze is wonderful. I do recommend this as a tattoo ointment. It works wonderfully as a glide. It doesn't clog up my needles, and I really do like the purple, honestly, because I just like that color. Okay, next up is alcohol and these bottles. You'll want to get all these bottles from Amazon so you can hold things like alcohol and soap. While you're working, you're also going to have another soap that you're going to cover like this for your tray. So you definitely want to have at least 3 different plastic dispensers. We'll put those in a link in the description below. You may want to invest in some stickers as well. We have some on our website. Also, another thing I should mention is I really don't like using regular paper towels. They're very linty, and that lint can get in the way of the tattoo process. So I ended up finding these lint-free wipes from Amazon. They just look like this. And they actually are very smooth. And the clients, they have like one kind of softer side than the other, but the clients seem to be very happy with this. It also doesn't seem to be irritating the skin. The skin doesn't get super red from wiping with this. So I think that the microfiber is helping with that. So you definitely want to think about getting something a little nicer than paper towel if you've been using that. We were using the blue shop towels for a long time, but these are way less linty than those as well. Bactine Max. Have you heard of it? Bactine is wonderful, you guys. If you're not using Bactine, you definitely should. It actually has 4% lidocaine in it. I've heard people even spray a tiny bit into their water. I haven't tried doing that yet, but no one's complained of any problem with it. You just want to make sure that your client is not allergic to Bactine for some reason. If they are, they'll know it. It's very common to know if they have that type of allergy. The Bactine, generally I use after the tattoo's done, and or if it's a very large tattoo and I'm done with my lining, I will spray them with Bactine and give them a little break before I go into the shading. I feel like this does help the clients endure a little bit longer so I can get my work done. So I definitely recommend Bactine. You do not, however, want to put this on before the bandage. You can put it on after you're done with the tattoo, but then before you put your bandage on, you'll want to do another dose of this sterile saline spray. And why is that important? Well, without that, the recovery is really not going to stick as well. As you can see, recovery makes their own sterile saline spray. Maybe they're trying to give you a hint that this will work better if you do this last step right before. And that is just to help the adhesive do its job better. You may notice I also have this other black ink here on my dental bib. This is called the Allegory Black. I recently discovered it on Amazon. It's actually a less expensive option to Empire. Empire's amazing, but if you are on a budget, you might want to go for this Allegory Black, because not only is it about half the price, but it's available on Amazon and it works wonderfully. It's an amazing little product and I'm happy with it. So I think I'm going to buy more of it in the future. They also have a triple black that I'm curious about as well. But this is the lining black and it works beautifully. Do you guys have a favorite stencil solution? I definitely do. I recommend this Hold Fast stencil solution. I've tried a lot of different ones and this one by far is my favorite. The last thing you want is your stencil application to go wrong because you chose the wrong stencil solution. This one does it every time for me without missing a beat. And even if I have a little corner of area that I forgot to get it and I have to put the stencil back down, I can just take a little bit of this, put it there, and it actually works just fine. It doesn't oversaturate it or anything. So this is a great little stencil solution. I'll put a link in the description below. You may be wondering what's in this bottle. This is my waste solidifier, which is a fancy name for sand that turns water into basically sand. You put this in your ink when you're done and your water, and that helps absorb all the fluid. So if you have the biologic stuff in your cup, it will help make that much safer because it turns it from liquid to basically sand that you can just throw away in the garbage, and you don't have to worry about your hands going in the garbage and accidentally touching anything. It just makes it a lot safer to throw away your inks and your dirty water. If you want to do that, get this magic sand here. We'll put a link in the description. All right, next up we have barrier film. Barrier film just makes everything a little bit safer as well. The barrier film comes in this box here. This is the PacDent brand. We'll put a link in the description below. Barrier film just basically sticks to itself and it makes it really easy to cover things on your armrest or on your machine. It just goes around things very easily. So if you want to cover something fast, you're done. So that's very helpful, and this is the brand I like. Go check it out below. Here next we have my UV cleaner. This UV cleaner fits quite a bit of things. I like to put my motors in here, the motor side of my machine, and anything that I can't run through the autoclave or the ultrasonic, I'm going to be running through this UV cleaner. I can also put inks in here, by the way, which I feel like helps just keep your inks a little bit cleaner. Here's my ultrasonic cleaner. I love this one because it is a really nice size and it can fit all the things I need to put in here. I use the ultrasonic before I use the autoclave for my grips, for all my silicone things like my trays, and I also use it for tiny things like cams. So it's wonderful to have this little ultrasonic. This one does have quite a nice capacity. As you can see, I have a few trays in there right now. So if you want to get this one, it is in a link in the description below. Lastly, over here on my back wall, I have my autoclave. An autoclave is absolutely essential. I do recommend using an autoclave to clean your grips, and I use it also for my silicone as well because those are safe to go in the autoclave. So what's nice about this one is it's on Amazon. You want to make sure you use the right autoclave. There are a list of accepted autoclaves for your county, but we can recommend the one that was right for our county. Hopefully it's on your list as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. It really helps the channel out if you smash that like button and subscribe. Also, please use our links in the description below if you're building your own studio. And I'd love to hear about it, so comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Thank you. Bye.